if you are watching, definitely drop me a comment. Let me know. If you are going to be watching the replay, let me know. Say hashtag replay, and so that way I can come back to you and comment, so I'll know when you are watching. And I'm Chastity. I am the Client Success Manager for Finding Freedom and Candace Spears' team. So I'm also a success coach. So if you were to join Finding Freedom, I'd be the first person you talk to when you come in for your Kickstart call. So I definitely, much like Colleen, understand the importance of one-to-one conversations. And I know sometimes we get into this groove or this, hey Colleen, or this feeling of group conversations are easier, right? We're in a group chat collective type of talk and communication society right now. So I think we've gotten a lot away from one-on-one conversations and the importance of that intimacy or that connection that you can get with one-on-one conversations. Hey Lisa. So I am going to be going over the important one-on-one conversations because they are important, right? It is, yes, it is easier for us to talk about it in a group, chat about it in a group chat, or make a collective post. But there's nothing like being able to sit or have that conversation with someone that's looking to either work with you, want to know more about your business, want to know more about who you are, because a lot of the importance of having those conversations is building that trust. And sometimes, Colleen, I think Colleen mentioned last week, it's hard to build that trust and when you are just doing it through text. Things can be misread when you are saying something through text because there's no tone attached to it. So people can just assume. And we don't want anybody to assume anything about your business, because when they assume, they get to make their own impression and they get to form their own opinion, and you don't want to do that. Now granted, you can do group chats, you can have some group conversations, they do work. Like right now we are having a group type of setting chat. So yes, it is okay to teach and inform in group settings or in group chats. However, when you are trying to bring someone on as a client, you want to be able to have that one-to-one touch. Because, so there's a few things that I want to highlight on, and I guess you could say I'm getting started. So one of the first things I want to mention about the importance of one-to-one conversations is being able to share your passion, right? Being able to hear your passion, right? Not only for the client's sake, but also the client being able to share their passion with you, whatever that may be. Whether it's a consultant business that you're running, whether it's a business that they're wanting to start of their own, whether it's like one of our clients, Karen, she's doing transitioning coaching. You want to hear that passion in their voice, because that's going to let you know what type of client they'll be, right? If they are passionate about their transformation or the impact that they want to make, or the impact that you have somehow, some way made them feel like they will have, you want to be able to hear that in their voice. You want to hear, for me, I run a coaching business for aspiring authors and writers that want to, publish their book. I need to hear that passion from them, because when you make an investment with me, I want to know that when things get hard, when the words aren't flowing, when the characters aren't talking, or when you just feel like, you know what, I may not be too cut out for this, that passion is going to keep you going. So when you have that passion, hey Candace, and you can hear that passion in their voice, there's something about that, being able to hear that passion and then connect it to that person, that just makes you want to go harder for yourself or go harder for them. Not to mention, as far as a coach or a consultant or an agency standpoint, when they can hear the passion that you have about your business and about your impact, it helps them put things into perspective. Like, I need that energy, right? So one-to-one conversations really help you transfer, if you will, that energy and show that passion, be able to give that passion a voice. So one of the other things that, y'all hold on, give me a minute, because I make sure I wrote everything down so I didn't forget. And another important thing about one-to-one conversations is being able to answer questions, and for it to feel like, I don't know if you've ever gotten into someone's inbox and you wanted to buy something from them, but there just really wasn't a little bit of enough information for you. So you jumped into their inbox and they're like, visit my website, or they just dropped their website. And you still want that one-to-one, hey, thank you so much for, thinking of me or wanting to purchase something from me. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have, right? That's a different level of customer service that I think sometimes we miss because we're busy. We're busy. We don't have time to answer this question, answer that question. Oh, I'm always asked this question, blah, blah, blah. However, the importance of that one-to-one conversation can mean a client or no client, a purchaser or no purchaser. And yeah, we're on the bigger, better things. One client is just one client. No, it's not how the attitude you want to take. So when you have that one-on-one conversation and somebody is able to come to you and ask that question that's been on their mind or on their heart, or that they just, hey Chris, or they just feel like, well, I just really need to answer this. It could be the difference between that one question of them becoming a client and not a client, right? So you have to be willing to have those one-on-one conversations so you can close those deals, so you can make somebody feel comfortable making whatever investment they're making. Even if it's not on the phone, even if it's just a simple DM, or if it's a text message that says, hey, I'm totally interested, but I'm feeling a little this, right? Because you will deal with objections no matter whether you're doing it on one-on-one basis or you're doing it a group basis. But when you have that one-on-one, you can clear up any confusion or any hesitancy sometimes with just simply answering their question and being open to having that one-on-one conversation with them. So the importance number 3 that I have is it actually shows you, it shows that you're not too busy for a quick chat, right? It shows that you're not too busy. It shows that you're not going to be one of those coaches or one of those businesses that is always too busy to have a conversation. I'm too busy. Because if you're not making those personal connections, then what are we really doing? We're changing lives. Therefore, I want to be able to have some type of conversation with somebody that has sold me on changing my life, transforming me, helping me get to this next level. So it shows your customer or your client that you're not too busy. Do I recommend setting boundaries? Definitely. Have boundaries. However, always be willing to, again, it's called high touch, and as you scale, of course, you won't want to do that, so we won't get into that. But there is a certain je ne sais quoi about high touch, and I love that part of it. A lot of you probably don't know, but I used to be in a client of Candace's in Finding Freedom before now, and there was something about being able to text her or have that one-on-one conversation to just unlock doors for me that just really changed my perspective. And granted, the program itself is great, but there's something about being able to have that, yes, those connections, and being able to share that transformation. And again, to me, one-on-one conversation overall, if I say nothing else and you take nothing else from what I'm saying, is it the transfer of energy. And you need to have them because either it's going to be good energy transfer, it's going to be bad energy transfer. So you need to have those conversations so you're not putting yourself in a situation to where your boundaries are going to be crossed, or that this person may be a little difficult to work with. And most of the time, if you have that conversation with them, you'll be able to find that out very quickly. I also believe the importance of having those one-on-one conversations kind of puts you in a level of expertise. It allows you to share your expertise in a deeper way because you're very limited, especially. So let's think about social media and Twitter, and there's only so many characters you can have on Twitter and Instagram, and there's a certain way you have to break up your post on Instagram in order for it to be a readable, a digestible post. So think about the limits that social media places on communication. So think about the limits as to what you can post on a graphic to make so it won't look so busy. So when you have those one-on-one consultations and those one-on-one conversations, you're then able to completely blow it out the water. And I mean, go all the way in on what your expertise is, of course, what your transformation is going to be, how you're going to show up for them. And that leads me to the last point of those one-on-one conversations. It's a clear indication of how you're going to show up for your business. If you're willing to have those one-on-one conversations, and again, it's not going to always happen that way, but if you're willing to have those one-on-one conversations and being able to touch base and hit people where they really need to be hit and answer questions that they didn't even know they had, because it's not, a lot of the times when you communicate with somebody, you're answering questions that they didn't even know they had. You're telling them things that are going to work for them that they didn't even know would work. Like they didn't even fathom that this was a possibility. So overall, one-on-one conversations allow you to show up, show out, show your expertise, build those connections, and test the transfer of that energy if it's going to work or not. Because every client is not going to be the client. And me personally, I want the client. Now I know I'm not always going to have perfect clients or people are people that just are awesome every time. However, for the most part, I do want to be able to check energy, check to see if we're going to be a good fit. Are you going to be able to, yeah, there's questions that people don't even know existed sometimes until you get to talking. And again, you show that passion, right? You show how much you have a zest for this and how this is not just about me. This is about the client. And you get to make that one-to-one conversation about the client and not so much about you. Because sometimes when we're posting on social media, it does feel a little bit of me and what I can do, not what I want to do for you. So get in the trenches and have those conversations, show up, give them your expertise, answer those questions that either they asked or that they didn't know they had. Check that energy, check that passion. You want to make sure you can hear that passion in their voice, and you want to show up and give them that passion when you talk to them. You want to give them that passion. You want to give them that zest. You want to go full throttle and not, oh yeah, I don't know if we can get that done for you or not. I'm not sure about my business. I'm not giving anybody my money that isn't confident. They're shy, and then there's a lack of confidence. Even the best people know to fake it till they make it. And I just fake it till you make it. And honestly, I realize that there are a lot of introverts that are now stepping into business because they want to be. This is my tip to you introverts that may feel like, oh my God, the thought of talking to somebody for this amount of time, the thought of doing this, do it, but then take some time for that. Is something that I actually read online because I actually had an introverted client that was just like, oh my God, you want me to get on social media, you want me to do this? Yes, you do have to get out there, you do have to do the work, but it's okay to say, after this is done, I need an hour to retreat. I need an hour to go back to myself and to who I am. So just show up when you have those conversations. Show up confidently. Make sure your passion is on you, make sure you are answering those questions, thinking about who this person is and what it is, what gap you're going to be bridging, so when you show up, you're prepared. So be prepared when you have those one-on-one conversations, and do not let it get you tripped up. Build out a script for yourself. Think about what could potentially go wrong and already have a pivot. Also, envision it going, but also there's some power in detaching from those expectations. You do your best to show up the best of your ability, and the rest will fall in place. That's my spiel for today. I think it was supposed to be only 15 minutes. I could go on forever if it wasn't. But I think that's really what I wanted to say, is that the one-on-one conversations just really shows and puts into perspective for the client that you are willing to show up, that you are willing to answer their questions, that you are willing to go that extra mile for them if they need that confidence in you. And it's also a learning experience, right? It's also a learning experience when you get to talking to people, because sometimes they answer questions or they give you insight that you didn't even know that you needed. And that's one of the things that we have in Finding Freedom, is an opportunity to do research calls with people that you may potentially want to work with. So you can ask those questions and you can get down to the nitty gritty of your audience and what your impact is going to be. So when you get into these conversations, you are all very close to knowing what it is that this person may need from you. But never be afraid to ask those questions either, and say, hey, this is what I offer, but in your words, what can you tell me that if I could do something for you, what would it be? And if that's not something that you can do, that doesn't mean you have to cower. Again, that means you learn something. You learn from it. And you can learn from these one-on-one conversations as to how to move better and how to give better. So that's my spiel for the day. I thank you so much for attending the live. Again, if you're here, thank you so much. Chris, Candace, Colleen, Lisa, thank you all so much. If you are catching this on the replay, make sure you put replay and let me know if there's any additional information that you need or that you want or that you wish, like, yeah, go in further on that. Tell me more about finding freedom. Hey, all that. I want to hear it. And yes, Chris is right. You have to bring your best energy with them because this is scary, whether it be starting a business or going into therapy and life coaching. And like Chris is a diversity coach and is talking about the workplace lack of diversity. There has to be some confidence and some energy being brought to them because a lot of people are just scared. They're not ready to have those conversations because they don't know that they need to have them. And investing in someone that you've never been able to shake hands with or touch or meet, that's hard. So there's got to be something that you give them and they can hear in your voice that says, you know what, I can't wait, let's do it. And that's my spill. So have a good night, y'all.